job of kind of finding him, keeping him in check this afternoon.
All right, take a look at today's starting lineups brought to you by State Farm. Get to a better state. State Farm. You take a look at Central. Chris Fowler, we talked about. Kyle Randall going to get it done out of Youngstown. He can light it up. Number 8 in the MAC and 3-pointers made. And number 3 in the conference at free throw, and he gets to that charity stripe. He'll make it click for the Chips. Their head coach in his first season is Keno Davis, and everywhere he's gone, his programs have become gold. Whether it's Drake, Providence, he's a winner, and he's turning things around at Central. Now it's senior day here in Kalamazoo, so Dan Loney will get the start. One of 3 seniors that were honored here just a couple minutes ago. Nate Hutchinson is the guy, but Shane Whittington, as we talked about in the open, when he gets it going, the redshirt junior from Paw Paw, he is a double-double machine. For the Hawks, Steve Hawkins in his 10th season at Western. And again, nothing but success for a very young basketball team. 8 freshmen on his team, but he told us this week, this team to him is one of the best teams he's ever coached in all of his years of college basketball. It is a rivalry. It's a big one. And we're set to go. Glad you could join us here on Sports Time Ohio. Whittington and Hibbets in the center circle to jump. You see the 142nd meeting dominated by Western, and they won the last meeting as well. Central looking for a little revenge and trying to spoil senior day here as you look at the officials this afternoon. Western controls the tip. Pokley into the hands of Austin Ritchie, and we're underway here at University Arena. Mike Harris, Jackie Whitney, glad you could join us here on Sports Time Ohio.
Western Michigan being extremely patient here in the onset, and you know, it's something that they like to do, get a lot of players involved, have a little bit of patience, move the basketball, and then really look to get that ball inside to Whittington.
Count it, and the foul. Central on the board. Chris Fowler got in, got the bucket, and the foul. And Fowler will go to the free throw line. The freshman from Southfield, Michigan. That one is short. Knocked out of bounds, last touch by the Broncos. So it'll be Central basketball just underway here in Kalamazoo. Central can finish anywhere from 9 to 11 in the seedings. Western is locked into number 3, and they've got a bye into Cleveland coming up next week. Randall rises up. Whittington comes down with a rebound. Here comes Ritchie back the other way for Western. Pokley on the back door to Whittington.
Good patience there by Western Michigan. Again, very deliberate in their movement. You can see that they want to get this young man touches in the inside early. Coming off the little screen and roll 2-man game. Just a easy fundamental basketball there. Bounce pass through the lane and attacking the rim.
Whittington knocks it down. 76% free throw shooter. Olivier Bigoto checks in. And that one's up and good.
Both teams comfortable going into their bench a little bit. They're not afraid to get some people involved early. And
DJ Richardson hits the floor hard as he went up with the shot. These two teams, a contrast in style. Man-to-man against the zone. Coach Hawkins has talked about Central as a much faster team, but they're the bigger and more physical team, so if they're trying to will each other to play the way the other team wants them to.
And we're a minute and a half into the basketball game in Central Michigan already with another trip to the free throw line. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to look to attack the rim, and they like to score points fast and out in the open floor, but they're also going to score them at the free throw line because of their aggressiveness.
Central starts 4 freshmen. DJ Richardson, one of those 4, as he splits the free throw pair.
It gives them a chance then off the made basket and dead ball to kind of set their pressure a little bit. Could see a lot of different zone looks out of Central. They've kind of toyed with what they want to do at this end of the floor throughout the year as they've gotten comfortable with this young unit and kind of settled into a little bit of a man and zone look here down the stretch.
Richie on the take, dumps it up inside. Whittington who hammers it home.
Well, he's the bullseye in the interior, and anytime you've got guards that are going to collapse and you've got a presence inside like him, he's just so active and takes up so much space.
Ibbot's off the 3, missed. Back the other way is Richie. Whittington rises up and knocks it down. Good start.
He's picking up where he left off, coming off the career day, and that's going to be the question mark for Central. Is this young team physically going to be able to match his physical presence inside?
Early 3-point lead for Western. Fowler outside to Richardson, who drills the 3.
Yeah, nice little penetration and dish there, just making a good basketball decision on how the defense reacts. Richardson, feet set, able to knock it down. Again, splitting the trap there and just nobody able to close out. And that's a great delivery of the basketball to Richardson, who connects on his just 5th 3 of the MAC season.
You see Darius Paul checked in, number 24 for Western, the freshman out of Gurnee, Illinois. That one tossed away, a turnover by Western.
And this is the one thing that's kind of that X factor for Western Michigan, is taking care of the basketball. One of the areas at which they've struggled a little bit this year is taking care of it. And early turnover there gives this young team a lot of chances.
Yeah, Coach Hawkins talked about that. He said that was the glaring weakness in all of their losses as they turned the ball over.
Well, it comes down to positive possessions and getting looks at the basket. And if you're throwing it into the stands, you're just not giving yourself that many opportunities.
Randall got inside, but a foul on the floor. Craddock is checked in for Central. There's Zach Saylor, the senior from Lansing.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see Central Michigan picking up fouls in that sense throughout the game. Again, we talk about the physical presence inside that Western Michigan really has the advantage with. And as these young men from Central try and kind of hang in there, they're going to have to bang, they're going to have to be physical.
Coach Davis says one of the things they'll try to do is they'll beat them with numbers. Whittington got inside and the foul. And we'll already see, as advertised, 10 players before the first media timeout. And that's exactly what happened as you take another look at the foul.
Yeah, nice positioning there by Whittington. Was able to get the defense on the high side, and nice little bounce pass on the baseline, right where he needed to be able to catch, gather, and get to the free throw line.
Whittington off to a great start already for Western. And he knocks them both down. Now Chris Fowler will check back in for Randall. Kyle will sit down for the first time this afternoon. 3.5 minutes gone by in this rivalry matchup on the final weekend of regular season play in the MAC. Mike Aarons along with Jackie Winded. Glad you could join us here this afternoon as we are closing in on tournament time in Cleveland next week. Of course, all your men's and women's action right here on Sports Time Ohio. Fowler blocked off by Hutchison. Keel went baseline. That was shut off. Got it inside. Sailor with the left hand. And another turnover there. Ritchie went one way and Whittington and the ball went the other. First time out on the floor. Shane Whittington's got off to a great start. Western with the early 2-point for the regular season. And it is tournament time, Jack, next week at Quicken Loans Arena.
It's without question the best time of year. And you talk about the Central Michigan team, as the graphic just alluded to, and you've got a young coach coming in, or new coach here to the program, and you've got this freshman class that has just exceeded expectation in some regards with what they've been able to put up statistically, and nothing better than game experience. And you've got a veteran coach that has done so many things well in terms of turning programs around and putting them into a position to be successful come postseason. It's just, it'll be fun to see what ends up becoming of the Central Michigan team.
Yeah, Aquino's done a great job at Central in his first season, and he knew it'd be a rough one when you're playing with freshmen, but they have responded, and he uses his entire bench. He's not one of those coaches that'll play 7 or 8. Shot clock tipped in, another 2 for Whittington.
And you look at how your team responds when they're that young too, and you kind of go through the beat down of the year. There's so much to adjust to, but you've got a player like Fowler who comes out of a nationally recognized program in Detroit Country Day, spent some time down at the IMG Academy, so he's been able to kind of adjust a little bit easier than just making the traditional high school to college jump. But they're responding. I mean, you've got that team, like we just said, you know, they've won their last 2 games, and they're finding ways to win down the stretch as opposed to kind of taking that beat down all year and crumbling.
Foul inside on Whittington. Right now it's Shane Whittington 10, Central 9. As Hibbets drilled the 3 down in the other end. There's a look at David Brown, the guy that Coach Hawk calls instant offense off the bench. The leading scorer off the bench in the MAC at almost 11 points a game. And what a story he has become here at Western, battling back-to-back knee injuries the past 2 years. And coming off the bench to give Coach Hawk the offense that he needs. Ten on the shot clock. Fowler. Kick out. Hibbets looking for 3 from the corner. Simons with the rebound. Had it stripped away by Brown.
Nice job of staying active in the play there defensively by Western Michigan, as Central kind of played that east to west game a little bit, looking to find a seam, and nice job of keeping the ball in front of them and staying active.
Connor Tavies checked in for Western, number 4. Paul rises. Hibbets with the rebound for Central. Here comes Fowler back the other way. Richardson working on Hutchison, kicks out to Randall for 3.
Nice job of relocating once that entry pass went into the low post there, and Ritchie just kind of got caught in no man's land, and a nice job on the kick out, and young man knocks down the long ball.
Ritchie an open look at a 3. That one won't go. Tavy with the stick back. And the foul. Connor Tavy cleaning up the mess inside.
Well, this was going to be the X factor this game, was who could control the glass, and Tavy did a great job of staying active inside and collecting the basketball and getting the and one.
Taylor Perry checks in for Nate Hutchison. Perry is 6'4" freshman out of Rochester, Michigan. Tavy completes the 3-point play.
And that's probably one of the things when we talk about the game and getting these freshmen to understand what the next level is like. So many times at the high school level, you can get away with that athleticism to just go grab the basketball, but at this level, so much more physical on that interior, and Central really kind of getting beat up on the glass, and it's just getting used to what it's going to take to be able to come down with the basketball at this level.
Western in that man-to-man. 5 on the shot clock. Shot clock violation. Randall had to hoist. Western with the basketball and the lead.
A little extended pressure here again. We've seen it out of these dead ball situations that Central's been able to kind of get established and just switch it up a little bit.
Brown on the drive inside. The finger roll won't go. Paul with the stick.
Nice job of staying on the offensive glass again. Central just kind of finds themselves watching the basketball, and Western staying active on it, really winning the battle on the glass.
Richardson double teamed inside. Craddock for 3. Here comes Brown back the other way. Perry with the foul. Beat Central, or the year is not complete. And he fully understood that when he took the job, what this rivalry was all about. Glad you could join us here this afternoon on Sports Time Ohio. Mike Aarons along with Jackie Winden, Steve Warren, our director, Joe Renyak, our producer here from Kalamazoo. Craddock inside, shut off, and then foul.
Nice patience here by Central Michigan, moving the basketball and then finding a seam. That's exactly what happened here. Attacking the rim, and again, getting those trips back to the free throw line. They're kind of catching Western Michigan here a little bit late on a rotation or help side. And kind of keeping themselves in the basketball game here at the charity stripe.
Craddock, one of just 4 seniors on this Central roster. Out of Garland, Texas. Splits the pair. Whittington comes down with another rebound. He's off to a great start here this afternoon.
That's only 6 here already today. We talk about 10 double-doubles on the year, and already now with 10.6 rebounds.
Brown hoists a 3. That's off the mark. Hibbets with the rebound. Central to push. Fowler with the basketball.
And that's not a bad look by Brown, but again, with the presence Whittington has had inside, you really want to see Western use their physical presence and get some touches inside, play inside out. A little bit of a quick trigger there by Brown.
Keel took a look at the shot clock, tried to get around Perry. Baseline jumper rattles out for Bigoto. Klein trying to push. Klein with the floater. Central with a loose ball. Keel coming back the other way. Couple of quick shots for Western, kind of feeds that pace for Central.
It certainly does. Plays right into the hands of Central Michigan, and then it also kind of has that inside presence, then a little off kilter to be in position to rebound the basketball. And then Central Michigan kind of able to play pesky and keep the ball alive then, and kind of tip it out and get out in transition and go. And that's exactly what they want to do.
Western going to slow it up, be a little more deliberate. Right now, taking advantage of Central. That's Tavy for 3.
And that's a much better look. I know it was still quick in the shot clock, but they went quickly in transition, but then kind of slowed down into their half-court set. Everybody was able to get into position, wide open look, and knocked it down.
Largest lead of the afternoon, 5. Here, halfway through the opening period from Kalamazoo. Randall off the mark. Perry comes down with a rebound. Look at the three-point field goals early on, blocked, out of bounds. Western basketball.
And that plays right into, again, what Central Michigan wants to do. They look to attack the rim, and Western Michigan's really kind of defensively having to move a lot more, and they're getting some wide-open looks then. As you see the take here by Perry.
Blake Hibbets, good-looking basketball player, 6'7" freshman. Actually committed to play baseball and basketball at Stanford, but Stanford then went through a coaching change. And Hibbets decommitted. He's out of Hudsonville, Michigan, and came to play for Keno Davis at Central, and he has been rock solid. One of the best three-point shooters in the MAC. And that one's knocked down. The three on the way, and Western extends the lead on the three by Pokley.
I'll tell you what, he was out here early when we arrived at the arena, getting them up, and he didn't miss too many then, so not a shock he connects on his first three of the afternoon.
8-point lead for Western inside to Hibbets. Tried to bank it in. Another rebound for Whittington. Whittington just stuffing the stats right now. Inside, Tavy with the right hand. Whittington tried to tap it back up and in. And knocked it out of bounds.
He just has such great range for a big man, and good feet in the interior, just really able to stay active and keep the possession alive, even though he wasn't able to kind of come down with the rebound there. Had the instinct to just kind of try and tip it up over the rim, and Whittington off to a great start here through the first 12 minutes.
They just don't have any answers for Whittington inside. You can already see the size advantage that Western has. They get into Paul inside with an athletic move by Paul.
And with the shooters being able to knock down baskets from the perimeter, it's just really kind of stretching the Central Michigan defense, and they're not going to be able to contain them inside one-on-one.
You saw the run, 8-0 run. It's a 10-point lead. Largest lead of the afternoon. Randall. Kick out, Simons for three. That goes down. They've hit from that corner a couple times here this afternoon.
And they're going to have to, because Western Michigan's really kind of packing it in a little bit as Central's trying to find seams and attack the rim, but they're doing a good job of kicking the basketball out to the perimeter once they're double and triple teamed on the inside. And they're going to get those looks from the perimeter. They've got to knock them down if they want to stay in this basketball game.
Sports Time Ohio crew on location in Kalamazoo this weekend. Final weekend of the regular season. The seedings are all but set for next week's tournament. You can see all the action live for the men's and the women's right here on Sports Time Ohio. It'll be a busy, busy week starting on Wednesday all the way through Championship Saturday here on STO. Nate Hutchison to the line. One of three seniors honored here this afternoon. That one in and out. 130th game played for Nate Hutchison here this afternoon, which ties the all-time record here at Western. Over 1,000 career points. It was a preseason All-MAC. And he knocks it down. Hutchison has been a good one. Take a look at the offensive rebounds, the second chance points, and a lot of that has to do, again, with the size inside of the Broncos.
Whittington already with 9 rebounds on the afternoon, and we talked about it in the preview show here coming into the game, is his presence on the inside. When he takes up so much space and has that athleticism and range, it just can cover a lot of ground.
3-pointers keeping him in the game. Kyle Randall knocks down another one. That's the 5th 3-point field goal this afternoon for Central, which is not a very good 3-point shooting team, but they can't do anything inside.
Well, they're doing a great job of kind of exposing the Western Michigan defense here a little bit. Western, again, packing it inside. We've got a Central Michigan team of 4 players now who've hit from long range, and Whittington with the follow-up there again just continues to add to his point total. Now at 12 this afternoon.
Big follow-up finish for Whittington. 7-point lead, 6.5 left to go. The opening half of basketball here from Kalamazoo. Randall gonna raise up, and he knocks down a three. Back-to-back threes for Kyle Randall.
Trading 2s for 3s right back into the basketball game.
That's 6.
I like that kind of basketball.
Paul inside, good move with the right hand. Darius Paul. One of the rare baskets inside.
Great hesitation there by Fowler, though. Got him to bite a little bit, and when you're shooting as well from the perimeter as they are, Western's got to respect that little hesitation move all the way to the rim.
Richie fouled on his way to the basket. You saw Whittington was about to clean that up on the follow-up.
Great timing, though, and that's an integral piece to his game, too, and a great kind of tuck and attack move there. And Richardson just had no choice but to backpedal and foul.
Austin Ritchie at the line. Pivots and Keel will check in for Central. Along with David Brown for Western. Second one on the way, and that one's good. 5-point lead here, 5:44 left to go. Central has weathered the Western run, come back, hit a couple of threes to put themselves in good position.
Well, it comes down to making shots, and as you can see now, Western adjusting a little bit and really getting out on the perimeter and extending and looking to challenge some of these perimeter shots.
Foul away from the ball. David Brown gets called for the foul. Locking up with DJ Richardson for Central. That's his first. Keel for three. Whittington with another rebound. Whittington, straight on look. Brown comes down with a rebound and a fresh clock. Whittington, step back, no good. Here comes Central back the other way, Fowler. Under 5 to go, 29-24, Western on top.
Since that kind of barrage of three-pointers from Central, Western's really doing a better job of containing the basketball. This offense for Central that really likes to try and stretch you out and create lanes to the rim. It's important that they kind of sit down and keep the basketball in front of them. And that little adjustment there by Western has kind of stalled this Central offense.
Tavy to check in for Western, along with Chris Fowler. Darius Paul will sit down, along with DJ Richardson. 8 on the shot clock, Central inbound. Five on the shot clock. Fowler trying to work his way inside, kicks it out for three. And some free throws coming as Kyle Randall hits the deck. Second foul on Whittington.
This young Central team's resilience. They're attacking the rim as the shot clock goes down, and Western's just forced to kind of double and triple team to try and contain the basketball. And you can tell that Central's beginning to get comfortable with each other as this young team again finds their way. And we can talk about a young team, and I know Randall's a senior, but his first year with the basketball team as he graduated and is spending that now graduate year, which the NCAA allows you to transfer and play right away. And this team getting to know each other a little bit does a good job of finding passing lanes. And 3 attempts for Randall.
Whittington will check out with the 2 fouls. He's shooting free throws. The final 4:23. Both teams in the bonus, and Randall knocks down all 3. The senior from Youngstown, the transfer from UNC Greensboro, number 3 in the conference in free throw shooting at 85%. Ritchie sets up the offense with a 2-point lead inside the Tavy on the back door, and he got fouled. Goto was there for Central, but Tavy made a move and drew the foul.
Again, the defense getting caught on the high side, and Tavy does a great job of asking for the basketball on the baseline where he can just kind of drop step and finish. And Central playing catch up, fouls him from behind.
Simons checks in for Central. Tavy averaging about 16 minutes off the bench and already 7 points and a rebound. Some key minutes for Coach Steve Hawkins. Fowler inside to Hibbets. That's blocked by Whittington. Timeout on the floor. Great start for Shane Whittington and company on a senior day here in Kalamazoo. They've got a 3-point lead. Arena here in Kalamazoo in this long-standing rivalry between Western and Central. Good basketball game. Central clicking from the outside. In a kind of a strange stat, they're 8th in the conference in three-point shooting, but number 2 in three-pointers made. They make 8 a game. They're at 6 already here in the first half. As you saw that miss, but the long rebound.
And it comes down to decision-making with that, too. We see them wanting to really put their head down, attack the rim, as you can see here. And then it just comes down to making a decision and reading the defense. Are they going to collapse in and try and stop the basketball and force the kick out? Or are you able to, penetrate and get all the way to the rim? And through the maturity of this young team, just kind of making decisions there in the open floor. And give them credit. They've knocked down 6 of 13 so far today.
And no surprise, Central is attacking with Shane Whittington on the bench. One of the big reasons why that basket looks a lot bigger without the big man down low. Klein will check in for Ritchie. Hutchison to inbound for Western. Brown on the handoff to Tavy. Couldn't get it to go. Here comes Fowler back the other way for Central. 3 minutes left to go, opening half of basketball.
That was a nice job at checking out there at the defensive end of the floor for Central. They're currently outscored 14-0 on second chance points, and they've got to do a better job of limiting Western to one and done and being able to go in transition and then score on the open floor like they just did.
Kyle Randall with the 7th three-pointer for Central here this afternoon. We're tied.
It's so much easier to find a rhythm offensively, especially with what Central's trying to do and opening the floor up and attacking seams, when you're able to really check out at this end of the floor and get a one and done.
Darius Ball gets inside for the hammer shot. Western back on top. Under 2.5 left to go. Paul, good-looking freshman at 6'8". Brother Brandon playing at Illinois. That's a basketball family for you right there.
Talk about some DNA, right? Runs in the family.
3 ball on the way. That is number 8 for Central.
I'll tell you what, Randall looks smooth, and he's getting more and more comfortable as the game progresses. As opposed to rushing that shot that he saw a little bit earlier in the game, just looks very comfortable right now from behind the arc.
Central back up on top. Hutchison tried to answer, but Randall comes down with a rebound. Central has numbers, looking to push. Teal from the wing. My goodness, the Chippewas on fire right now.
And it all starts for them after the missed shot.
And all of this coming with Shane Whittington sitting on the bench with 2 fouls for Western. Let's see if the Broncos can answer here. Brown coming off that screen. This is Ritchie, the open look at a 3. That one's off the mark. Hibbets with the rebound. Here comes Fowler back the other way for Central. Wide open look.
Tremendous vision.
By Goto underneath.
I'll tell you what, you can kind of see that playing out, and try to do the look away. And nice dish in the interior there for the easy 2.
8-0 run for Central and a 6-point lead, their largest of the afternoon. Western's got to try to stop the bleeding here. Paul inside, tough shot.
That was a tough shot. Kind of bailed him out at the end, as Hibbets had done a great job of kind of holding his own. We talk about the physical presence here of Western Michigan, and Hibbets kind of bumped him off the block and forced an errant shot, but bailed out with the foul.
Ball knocks down the free throw. Substitutions on both sides. Here with 34 seconds left to go. Central turned this game around from beyond the arc. and they've got the lead with the long ball as Paul checks out.
You know, you talk about having a young basketball team and you just don't know how they're going to respond. Sometimes you get down. Are they going to just kind of go into their shell and call it a game? But with youth, sometimes they don't know any different. It's a long basketball game, and they just kind of play through some things. And Keno Davis.
The quickness at the guard spot for Central and the three-point shooting has been a problem right now for Western, and the Chips on a nice run.
And that's what you're doing defensively if you're Western Michigan, is kind of collapsing again once they're attacking the basket and forcing them to make outside shots, and they've done that.
Shot clock's off. Randall going to wait till it gets to 10 and then run the offense.
Pressure on Hutchison here a little bit to keep the basketball in front of him.
Three-pointer, no good. Inside deal with a stick back, and that won't count as he was short. But a nice run for Central here at the end of the first half, Jack.
They did a great job of just kind of exposing that Western Michigan and had to sit as that first half came to a close, but back out on the floor now, and if he's on the floor, Western's going to have a chance.
Yeah, they had no answer for the big fella in the first half, and he was imposing his will. 12 points, 11 boards, already with another double-double. That's his 11th for the year. He leads the map. Hibbett's going to tee up a three, and why not? Everybody else has got one. Add to the total. That's the 10th three-pointer knocked down by Central here this afternoon.
Just found himself wide open, and again, there's a Western Michigan turnover, only their 4th of the game. We talked about that a little bit, being a liability for them throughout the years. Some of these unforced turnovers, 70 and 80 feet from the basket.
Yeah, just 7 turnovers combined for the two teams. It's been a very well-executed game on both ends. But Western has gone cold from the floor. It was final 2.5 minutes of the first half, and it's continued here into the second half. Fowler trying to work his way inside around Pokley. 10 on the shot clock. Randall with a pull-up jumper. That's good.
And even though Central scored there, that was a better possession for Western defensively. They're able to contain the basketball one-on-one, and Randall just made a tough shot, but I'm sure this Western Michigan team has really been challenged to defend one-on-one and keep the basketball on the perimeter.
20 points this afternoon for Randall. Fowler. Simons for three. That one's short. Ritchie trying to get Hutchison. It was broken up by Simons, who got back on D. Good hustle by the big fella. As you take a look at the leading scorers, Randall now with 20. Whittington and Paul leading the way for Western.
And those right on par with what we've seen this year. And Central Michigan, a team dominated by Randall in the offensive category, the only double-figure scorer. Western a little bit more balanced. 4 and 5 players continually posting double figures.
Paul trying to back down Hibbets as he goes inside. Short. Simons with the rebound.
Rare miss on the inside for Paul. And this allows Central to just attack in the open floor, what they love to do.
Hutchison with the block on Randall down at the other end. Central continues to penetrate here in the second half.
Yeah, great crossover there. Reading the defense, seeing that there was a seam to the right and attack, but a nice defensive play there by Paul.
Fowler now to back it out. Have man-to-man defense for Western. Paul stepped out on Hibbett, so he took it to the basket, but couldn't convert. Here comes Hutchison back the other way. Whittington from the free throw line. He's got 14. First points here in the second half. And Western ends that drought. It lasted almost 5 minutes.
And by who else? Whittington, of course, getting the 2 to go down. And the more touches he can get this half, the better off Western Michigan's going to be.
Fowler nearly threw the ball away. Randall has to chase it down with 7 on the shot clock. Randall with 4 on the shot clock. Got inside with a floater. Simons tried to stick it back, but Whittington comes up with a rebound.
And really just the difference here is just being able to play one-on-one for Western. Not having to rotate defensively and leave guys open because they're trying to stop the basketball. Lockdown, shutdown defense.
Darius Paul down on the other end. He's got 12. So Paul and Whittington have been the offense for Western. Richardson turned the ball over. One of the rare turnovers this afternoon for either squad. Number 4 for Central. Wholesale changes for Keno Davis.
This is that token three-quarter court pressure we've seen after every dead ball turnover that Central Michigan has had today.
3.5 gone by here in the second half. 5-point lead for Central. He made a run right at the tail end of the first half to take the lead. Most of it was done with Shane Whittington on the bench for Western. 3 ball for Pokley.
That was deep. He had Whittington inside with position, but had a good look at it, went straight up and knocked it down.
2-point game now. Pokley drills the 3.
Not surprised Pokley wanted to get involved here in the three-point barrage shooting, right? He's hit over 45 in that play, and I think after a while of seeing your opponent do it, you want to get in on the action.
Shot clock running down. Bagoto had to raise, and he was short. We've got a timeout on the floor. 15:31 left. Steve Warren, our director, Joe Renyak, our producer, here in Kalamazoo this afternoon. Glad you could join us here on Sports Time Ohio. We got a good one cooking. 43-41. Central using the long ball to take the lead, and Western trying to answer. Whittington tried to dump it down.
That was a good look for the high-low, but just kind of threw the line drive instead of lobbing it up in there.
Bagoto got inside, banked it up and in. Four-point lead for the Chips. Trying to get David Brown going. He's been quiet here this afternoon for Western. Foul away from the ball.
Yeah, Simons on the interior really trying to be physical and keep Whittington off the low block from being able to get established down there, and got called for the hold.
Brown averaging almost 11 points a game off the bench and yet to score here this afternoon. He's taken just 2 shots. He'll take one here. Hutchison comes up with a rebound. The stick back is short. Pokley chases down the loose ball, but off him out of bounds. Gibbets checks in for Central as Simons goes to the bench. Fresh 5 in there now for Keno Davis. Randall has had the hot hand here this afternoon. Braddock working on Pokley. Pokley with the strip. Here comes Brown with a 2-on-2. He's got Hutchison with him right to the basket and counting.
Great attack there on the open floor for Brown, and it all started with the defensive pressure at this end of the floor. Western doing a great job this half of really containing the dribble drive one-on-one, not really needing help to contain the basketball.
Fowler got inside. Back to a 4-point lead for Central. Some pressure in the backcourt. Brown open look at a 3. That one goes down, and now he's starting to heat up. He scored the last 5. It's a 1-point game.
You can tell he's got a little swagger to him now, getting a little comfortable, slowing his game down a little bit. Sometimes you're forcing the issue, but really slowing down and getting comfortable at the offensive end.
47-46. Fowler trying to get inside, fouled by Brown.
Foul 25, David Brown is second, team first.
That's the second on Brown. First team foul here in the second half. Gibbets will inbound for the Chippewas. Fowler, the floater. Though Fowler's gotten to the bucket a couple of times here in the second half.
He did. Western kind of held their ground there. Fowler not a clean shot to the rim, but enough finesse and touch to be able to knock it down.
Coakley for three. Off the feed from Whittington. Fowler ahead in transition to Randall. Off the glass and banks it in.
Nice job of staying with the play by Randall as Brown with the block in the open floor, and Randall just stayed with the shot and knocked it down.
51-46. 5-point lead for Central.
And this is what becomes dangerous with teams that maybe given their record aren't as dangerous, but a team that's really kind of grown up through the year, playing some of their best basketball right now.
Coakley misfires on a three. Chips try to increase the lead now. Keno Davis asking Fowler to back it out, so the freshman resetting the offense. Dish inside by Goto, collides with Coakley and draws the foul.
The fans don't like it, but that's an instant block call as Terry Weimer points to the restricted arc.
Central on the move. They've got a 5-point lead with 11:54 left to play. Affiliate. There's a look at Keno Davis, his squad trying to spoil senior day here in Kalamazoo at University Arena, and they're doing a good job of it right now. 5-point lead by Goto, shooting two. OV misfires on the first one. They're still yelling at the official, Jack.
I know.
You're used to that.
Yep, sure am, and it just, it's a rule. Unfortunately, sometimes fans don't always know them, but good call by Terry Weimer.
By Goto misses both. Hutchison, nice give and go with Loney. Loney gets in for the basket.
Great two-man game on the weak side. Swung the basketball and efficient offense there. They knew right what to do with it. Delivered for the easy two.
The senior, one of three that was honored here this afternoon in their final game at home in a Western uniform. 3-point game coming up on 11 minutes left here in the second half. Randall gets inside, banks it up in off the glass.
He's got some great finesse attacking the rim there. Does a good job of getting away from the defense. Could have been an offensive foul there, but positions his body to use the rim, and another easy two.
Steve Hawkins was worried about that guard speed with Fowler and Randall, and the three ball is good there. They needed that from Coakley.
Well, the three-point phenom for Western's delivering. Both teams have done a great job this first 10 minutes of the second half of adjusting. Western had dominated the game early with second chance points and none this half. They did a good job on that last possession of kind of catering to the adjustment Central's done and forcing them to play outside.
Keno Davis going to take a 30-second timeout after the 6th turnover of the basketball game. His team's done a good job of securing. Steve Warren, our director, Joe Renyak, our producer, Dan Larson, our TD, Lance Sink, John Blaney on graphics, Mark Hall, Les Bartel on video, and Greg Fowler, the audio. Our Sports Time Ohio team here in Kalamazoo on the final weekend of MAC play. Mike Cairns along with Jackie Linden, and we've got a good one coming down the stretch here, Jack.
It's going to be a great basketball game here last 10 minutes. Both teams did a nice job of countering, making some halftime adjustments and responding here this half.
Tavy ties the basketball game, and then Randall got inside down on the other end. And there's that quickness out of the guards that Coach Hawkins was talking about.
Yeah, and even after a made basket here, as you see the set by Western, good job of attacking the baseline.
I'll tell you what, for a little guy, I guess you don't realize he's 6'5", but he gets inside. Tavy has worked a couple of times inside and got baskets in transition. He's also got him underneath in traffic.
We're checking the shot clock. We're going to go to the monitor.
Gonna take a look at.
Yeah, they scored, or excuse me, after the score here, they went in transition after Tavia's basket. Central went quickly out.
Home game of the season for the Broncos. Well, they decided to trying to figure out the shot clock. It's 22, and they added 6 to it, so there'll be 28 on the clock. Ball's back in play. Tie basketball game, under 10. So we're halfway through. Turnover. Seventh turnover for Central. Tavy on a give and go. Coakley.
Great patience by Western Michigan. They're finding a lot of success moving the ball east and west and off the little two-man games off the side and making good decisions with the basketball and getting some easy looks.
Western with a 2-point lead. Western's led by as much as 10. Central's led by as much as 9. A turnover there, back-to-back turnovers for Central. Look at the points in the paint. Dominated by a much bigger Western squad. Loney checks in for Western. Along with Taylor Perry. Simons checks out. Hibbets checks in for Central. 55-53. Brown with some pressure in the backcourt. Got it to Tavy. Tavy had it poked away by Fowler. Here's Coakley for 3.
Coakley's heating up this half with a long ball. Unfortunate bounce of the basketball if you're a Central Michigan fan. Did a nice job of poking it from behind, but Coakley then ends up with the basketball and knocks it down.
10-0 run for Western. Last 2.5 minutes. Randall along the baseline. Keel with a big rebound. Fresh shot clock for Central.
The Central Michigan team won't quite go away. That's what we've seen out of them all year. And even in the first half as Western jumped out to that early lead.
That's going to go on Fowler.
Foul. 15. Chris Fowler, his third.
Third foul for Chris Fowler. And that'll send him to the bench. Craddock will come in for him. And Simons will check back in for Central as well. David Brown heads to the bench for Western.
A nice job there by Brown of slide stepping, got positioned ahead of him, and Fowler just nowhere to go, tried to turn the corner, but Brown sacrificing his body and drawing the charge.
See the field goals for Western here in the second half. 60%, they've turned things around.
And that's a result of shot selection as well. They've been patient. They haven't forced the basketball this half, letting their offense work, doing a nice job of making reads off that.
And that man is on fire. Brandon Coakley, another 3. And the largest lead in the second half is 8. Keno Davis wants a timeout. They came in as the 9 seed today. Don't forget, later on, our doubleheader in MAC men's basketball continues. Coming up at 4 o'clock. Miami traveling into Athens to take on the 2 seed in the upcoming tournament, the Ohio Bobcats. That one coming up at 4 o'clock here this afternoon. And we've got a time.
has been a nice compliment to what Winnington has done on the interior.
That's a look at your Cleveland Clinic Sports Health Game summary. Mike Aarons, Jackie Winden, 7.5 left to go in this one. Westerns open up their largest lead of the second half. Couple of threes by Pokley, stretching things out. Central now got to go to work. Craddock. Western in that man-to-man, harassing the chips. Pokley steps out. This is by Goto, and he's short on a three. Tavy to Ritchie, back the other way. Pokley sitting over in that corner as Hutchison pulls up from the free throw line. And then the turnover by Tavy from behind.
I'll tell you what, Tavy's had a great game. Nothing too flashy or anything, but he's knocked down some threes and had some nice attacks to the rim on the inside, creating the turnover there. Just a solid game for that young man.
And I think one of the things we're seeing, Jackie, is just the youth of Central Michigan. They start 4 freshmen. There's 8 on the roster for Western, but you can see the experience taking over a little bit of stretch.
And they've got to search for balance out of these freshmen. You know, Randall is kind of in the focal point and the go-to offensively. He does so much for them, playing 36 minutes a game and averaging almost 20 per game. And then there's somewhat of a drop-off after that as these freshmen trying to find their way and who's going to be able to step up and deliver. And they're just kind of searching for that so far this second half.
Tavy's been rock solid off the bench. You see 11 points and 3 rebounds.
And he's the kind of player that make these good teams great teams. And as you're looking for teams that could potentially make a run here in the tournament, especially with what Akron U is, or Akron's dealing with now with their change in lineup. I don't want to keep your eyes on this 3rd seed Western Michigan team as they're able to get it done on the interior and from the perimeter.
Little give and go with Whittington inside. Whittington comes up short. Good look, though, as he worked it with Hutchison.
Yeah, rare miscue. Just kind of lost a feel for where he was on the floor.
Randall and the foul. Boy, is he fun to watch. He's going to be a good one.
Just keeps picking away at it and turns the corner and gets by him and gets a shoulder in front of him and bumped off his line. Randall with a chance for the N1.
26 points here this afternoon. And short. 61-57, 5.5 left to go. Darius Pauls checks back in for Western. Hutchison, he's been quiet this afternoon. Nice finger roll for him.
A great hesitation move coming off that screen and little pick and rolls, giving Central a lot of problems this half.
All day for Randall. 28.
Western finds a way to contain him. I think this game will pretty much get decided as Randall, just a phenomenal afternoon. 10 of 19 from the floor, but he just takes up so much of what Central's able to do offensively, and if you're able to neutralize him.
Well, no doubt a true point guard, true scoring point guard. 3rd leading scorer in the MAC at almost 18 a game. And he's been everything as advertised. Up top to Whittington! And he throws the hammer down from Darius Paul on the backdoor hoop. Fowler got inside and drew the blocking foul. But how about that last play? Paul and Whittington, little eye contact, and then it was send that elevator to the top floor, big fella. Take a look at this. Little eye contact, and then to the top floor we go. That's today's First Energy electrifying play of the game. First Energy bringing good energy to the community. Brought a lot of energy to this crowd here in University Arena.
Yeah, just a little rub screen. Started to move the basketball and swing it. Western comes back to weak side, and Winnington goes up snatches it, throws it down.
Getting near some danger time here. 11-6 for Fowler as we're inside 5, and it's a 6-point lead. So Central cranks up the pressure in the backcourt, but easily broken by Western.
And really going to put some pressure on their defense as they've got to start coming up with stops. We still have a lot of time left on this clock, but you look at a veteran team.
Rare turnover for Western here in the second half. Pokley, extra steps. It's just the 6th turnover here this afternoon for Coach Hawkins' squad.
And give Western credit for that. That's kind of been a liability for them throughout the year, but they've made some good decisions with the basketball and haven't turned it over to this young Central Michigan team.
Central was lights out from the three-point line in the first half, but they've gone inside here in the second half.
They only 3 attempts as they're looking to attack the rim, and a miscue there. It's going to turn it back over to Western.
Well, things have changed here in the last 5 minutes. Shane Whittington taking the elevator to the top floor, and it's a 5-point lead for the Broncos. Through the championship here on Sports Time Ohio, the women's semifinals will be live on Friday and the championship game on Saturday. All right here on STO. Final 4 minutes and a 5-point lead. Central with some pressure. Broken by Western. We'll see what happens here down the stretch.
Yeah, really look for this veteran Western Michigan team to continue to execute in half court. And who else but go to the big man inside.
Good look by Whittington, but a second chance in a fresh clock as Coach Hawkins resets the offense. Pokley has been the big scorer here in the second half. Nice pass to Whittington, couldn't handle it. Coming in hot.
Yeah, Central Michigan did a great job, though, that time of protecting the inside. Last time we saw that play, they went upstairs for it, and he threw it down. And
one of the reasons right there why they're winning this basketball game, Coach Hawk talked about it. Turnovers a big problem in their losses. That's been the theme. Right here, they're taking care of the basketball, and they've got a 5-point lead coming down the stretch, trying to close it out here on Senior Day. Foul, Hutchison, his 3rd.
we've seen a couple of blocks now on the perimeter. Fouls called against Western Michigan. You just kind of wonder if, as this game has progressed, they're just kind of getting a little bit more and more fatigued as they're trying to sit down and keep this basketball on the perimeter.
That'll put Central in the bonus, a 16 foul. So they're shooting free throws from here on out. And those will be 3 coming Hibbett's way on the foul by Tavy.
Intelligent basketball play there. Again, collapsed on the defense with the help side. He did a good job of ball faking, getting him airborne, and elevating for 3.
Hibbett's a very good free throw shooter. At 81%, leads the MAC freshman in three-point shooting percentage and three-pointers made. And again, one of those 4 freshmen starting for Coach Keno Davis, and a good-looking player committed to Stanford. Baseball and basketball scholarships, but when Stanford went through coaching changes, it was time for Blake to come back home. And Coach Keno Davis very happy about that. He's a good-looking player as he knocks down all 3. 2-point game. Buckle up here down the stretch. 2.5 to go. Brown breaks the pressure with Hutchison. Pokley shut off by Fowler. Nice look to Whittington, and he couldn't get it to go to finish it.
Western's had a great afternoon of executing their offense at a high level. Good distribution of the basketball there. Smart decision by Tavy. It's a slashing Whittington. It's been a while since he's been at the free throw line. Got there early in the game. Started out 4 for 4.
Knock that one down. 17 points, 13 boards.
I don't seem to jinx him like you do.
I thought about that when Blake was shooting down at the other end. I really did. I didn't say anything down here.
They tend to be notorious for that.
No doubt. Hutchison called for the foul. 7th team foul on the Broncos. 65-63. Randall swatted away by by Whittington, and Brown back the other way, lost the handle of the basketball out of bounds. Another block for Shane Whittington.
There's nowhere to go on the inside. As much space as he can take up, and did a nice job of blocking the shot, and Brown just unable to gather himself in the open floor with the basketball.
47 blocks for Shane Whittington. 4th all-time in blocks here at Western. Closing in on 50. Turnover there, and that could hurt Central coming down the stretch in a 2-point game.
And rushed the pass right there to Hibbets. Saw an opening there in the left corner, but just unable to connect on the errant pass.
Dennis Craddock checks back in for Central. See Central manning up with the pressure in the back. Flashed and broken up. Hutchison is now, Coach Hawkins wants him to slow it down a little bit. Use up some clock with a big bucket here. And a foul underneath. Simons got tangled up with Whittington.
As this clock continues to kind of grind down, you can tell Western Michigan just wants to go to the interior, play inside out at this point of the basketball game. Central just physically cannot match up with Whittington.
And a reminder, following our game here, Ashley Collins back in the Hyundai Studios, getting you all caught up to date. All the scores and highlights from a busy basketball day in the MAC and around the country. There's Michael Regai, Dave Sakuti coming along at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Miami travels into Athens to take on the Bobcats. 3-ball, and that could be the nail as Hutchison drills it.
That's a big basket, and Hutchison knocks it down. Central really collapsed in the interior, knowing Western wanted to go on the inside, and Hutchison with a wide open look, dead on, knocks it down.
Craddock an open look at a 3. That's off the mark. Central comes down with it. Randall fires it and drills it. And Keno Davis wants a timeout. Randall has been for 1 seed. They lost last night at home for a sold-out crowd against Kent. In that Wagon Wheel Challenge game. Made a run at the tail end of that game to make it interesting. But Kent came up with the win. So it's going to be an interesting MAC tournament next week at the Q. You'll get to see it all unfold here on STO. 2-point game, 17 on the shot clock. There's a 17-second difference between the shot and the game clock. And Coach Steve Hawkins for Kyle Randall with 31. 17-second difference, shot clock and game clock. 68-66, Western with the lead in the ball. Brown trying to get inside, and he'll go to the free throw line. David Brown putting it on his shoulders and getting inside and getting to the charity stripe.
Yeah, great spin move back to the rim. And again, Western just kind of exposing some liabilities that Central has. Just a little bit more of a physical basketball team and taking advantage of it there by attacking the rim. Still an eternity, though, left on the clock. 27.8 ticks with the way Central's been shooting the 3-ball here today.
And they inserted Austin Keel, the sophomore from Winter Springs, Florida. Loose ball, and Hutchison touched it up, but a backcourt violation. That would have been huge. Still a 3-point game, so a 1-possession game coming down the stretch.
Yeah, a little bit of a gift here for Central Michigan as Western really found themselves in a great position there off the miss with the chance to bring in. Just couldn't quite gather the basketball, though, and again, just a 1-possession basketball game here.
Coach Hawkins wants to take a timeout, talk this one over.
And if Western's forced to collapse in the inside, continue to distribute it out for that 3.
Now look for the ball to get in Randall's hands where it is right now.
Yeah, but attack the rim.
And he goes right at it. It's a 1-point game. Pressure now. Into Hutchison, who's fouled. by Randall. 12 seconds left to go.
And a good decision there by the senior again. Plenty of time. Stretch that defense out, attack the rim, and put the pressure back on Western a little bit to make some free throws. But Central's got to be careful. Last time we were down at this end, they didn't come down with the rebound, and Western had a chance to keep the ball alive. So they really need to do a good job of boxing out here at the charity stripe.
And Hutchison's the guy you want to foul out of the guys that are out there on the floor. 68% free throw shooter. And knocks down the first one. Big free throw there. With 12 seconds left to go. Still a one-possession game. And you see they've done a good job on Nate here this afternoon. Knocked them both down. 71-68. Look for Randall here. He's got the basketball now.
Not much time.
3 seconds. Randall for the tie. And he's short. And Western comes up the winner.